Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
What a great night here in New York City. Warm and sunny through the day, and a beautiful night for a ball game here at Yankee Stadium. And Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez with you again. The second game of this series between the Blue Jays and the Yankees. The Yankees with a 6-0 shutout victory over the Blue Jays last night. But as you can see in the middle of your screen, Devin Travis is back. Unfair to him to think of him as any kind of a savior for this offense, but still a lot of excitement around his return, and that gives us an opportunity to lead right into the Blue Jay lineup tonight. Travis, as you can see, is hitting down to the 8th spot. Jose Bautista is still leading off. He's had a lot of success against Nova, including the first home run Nova ever gave up in the big leagues. That was back in 2010. Justin Smoke did not start last night, back in the starting lineup tonight and playing well, hitting .333 over his last 21 games. They will face a guy that they are very familiar with over the last several years, Ivan Nova.
This will be the 14th career start for Nova against the Blue Jays. He has a 5-5 record with a .566 earned run average. This season, in 9 games, he's made 3 starts over those 9 games, and he's actually pitched well in his last 2 starts. He beat Oakland last time out in Oakland. 6 innings, 4 hits. He gave up just 1 run. That was a solo home run to Josh Reddick. But the Blue Jays, they've got some guys that have hit Nova well in the past, including in his last 3 appearances. They have really hit him hard.
And at least for the meantime, the top of the lineup stays the same way that it's been for the last 5 games. Bautista, Donaldson, Encarnacion, 1, 2, 3. A warm day, 31 degrees Celsius here in New York. As Bautista swings at the first pitch and skies a pop-up back of third. Chase Headley is there. 1 pitch and 1 out. Opportunity now to look at the Yankee defense in the outfield. Gardner to left, Ellsbury in center. Aaron Hicks is in right field again with Carlos Beltran DHing. Headley, Gregorius, Castro, Dustin Ackley at first base. Mark Teixeira's got a sore neck. He's gone for an MRI. And a Brian McCann, who has hit very well in this ballpark. Man, does he love hitting in this ballpark. 40 of his 55 home runs as a Yankee have come at home. He loves that short porch. He'll do the catching tonight. Josh Donaldson, the batter, hitting .246, 11 home runs, 7 for 16 in his career against Nova. Nova making his 4th start of the season. He began the year in the bullpen for the Yankees as he takes a little bit off that fastball, and it's 0-2. It was a competition back in spring training between Nova and CC Sabathia for the 5th spot of the rotation. Sabathia went out. Nova started as the long man. Then Sabathia went on the DL. Then Luis Severino went on the DL. And so Nova has nudged his way into the rotation, and he's pitched well in 3 starts as Donaldson lines one just over the head of Castro into center field for a base hit.
Well, Josh Donaldson, staying in a big part of the diamond, starts with a 1-out single. The last 3 starts for Nova, numbers are pretty impressive. We mentioned he beat Oakland last time out, 4 hits over 6 innings, and just the solo home run to Reddick. 3 home runs allowed in his 3 starts, but as we mentioned, the Blue Jays have roughed them up the last 3 times they've faced him.
Here's Edwin Encarnacion. And a check swing foul off on Encarnacion, hitting .235, 9 home runs. He is 10 for 30, a .333 lifetime hitter against Nova. The Blue Jays held to just 2 base hits last night. And they are now 3 games under 500, 22-25. The Yankees are right at 500. This 6-game winning streak has moved the Yankees back to the 500 mark for the first time since they were 4-4 way back in the 2nd week of the season. And the Yankees, Buck, have been getting great pitching during this winning streak.
Yeah, and that's a surprise for the Yankees, and they've been fortunate, but these starters have done a good job these last 6 games.
1-1. And a little bit high for ball 2.
We mentioned Nova has been roughed up by the Blue Jays. He pitched in relief against them early in the season in Toronto. He pitched on the 13th of April. Came in a 3-2 ball game and faced 9 batters in 1 inning. Gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, including 3 doubles, and everybody really hit him hard in that relief appearance.
Pulled foul just beyond the Blue Jay dugout. 2-2 now, and Encarnacion.
You just believe that sooner or later, and I know we've been saying this all year long, but sooner or later these guys got to hit. And I watched him in BP today because it's warm here. The ball was absolutely flying out of the ballpark in all directions.
Blue Jays were first in the majors by a wide margin in runs scored last year. They are 16th in the majors in runs scored this year. In the air to right field. Hicks coming over near the line. It's going to drop in fair. He broke back and then laterally to his left and then started coming in. Could not make up the ground. And that'll be a bloop single for Encarnacion.
Yeah, he hit it in the perfect spot as Encarnacion gets the second hit of the inning. Obviously, they're going to respect his power, and Hicks is really deep in right center. This is popped up down the right field line. You can see how far Hicks has to run. Second baseman Castro, he can't get there either, and it falls safely in right field.
So the Blue Jays with 2 men on here in the first inning. We talked about this a lot last night. This has been a season-long issue for the Blue Jays. They are last, not only in the American League, last in all of baseball in a batting average with runners in scoring position this year at .212. The Yankees are the second worst team in the American League at .218. They were 0 for 7 last night. John Gibbons just would love a clutch hit or two, especially early. Maybe so everybody could just relax and breathe a little bit. Michael Saunders is the batter.
Well, you're right about just relaxing, and we watch these guys hit every day, and they really put a lot of time in during batting practice. And of course, Michael's hitting in the cleanup spot now with his revised lineup. But a base hit here, a base hit there, and I think everybody will start to relax a little bit more. You start putting up crooked numbers, and everything looks a little bit more like the Blue Jays. No one's worked harder than those two hitting coaches.
Now look back by Nova. And a swing and a weak ground ball towards second. The shovel to the bag in time to force Encarnacion, but that's all they'll get. Fielder's choice. First and third, 2 down.
Well, that ball wasn't hit hard enough, and that's one where Encarnacion, running from first to second, has to make sure he doesn't do anything out of the ordinary with the new slide rule in effect, because it's not going to be a double play ball. It's just not hit hard enough. And you can see Castro has to wait on it, and by the time he flips it to Gregorius, there's no thought at all of turning 2. So the base runner, Encarnacion, has to make sure it's a very clean slide.
So now with 2 down and runners on the corners, here's Justin Smoke. Hitting .282, 3 home runs on the season. Had a grand slam off Ivan Nova in this ballpark last August. The first grand slam that a Blue Jay had ever hit at Yankee Stadium. Either Yankee Stadium. Switch hitter batting from the left side, and he'll look at a called strike.
It was really a surprise that that grand slam was the first one ever hit by a Blue Jay here in New York. But Smoke busted the game wide open, and he hit it in the 6th inning.
Gregorius, the shortstop, playing just to the left of second base. Castro, the second baseman, deep out on the outfield grass as they play Smoke to pull. Curveball and a swing and a miss. 0-2. Big pitch in Nova's arsenal.
Nova's basically a 2-pitch pitcher. You throw a fastball and that very good curveball. Occasionally he'd throw a changeup, but that's not very often. He likes to stick with fastball, curveball. With 2 strikes, he's going to try to bounce that breaking ball and get Smoke to chase. Smoke and Saunders have been the most consistent hitters for the Blue Jays over the last 6-8 weeks.
First and third, 2 down. And the 0-2 and a curveball that he fouls off. Did try to bury that pitch below the knees.
Yeah, he sure did, and that's what he's going to do with 2 strikes now. Smoke has to understand that with 2 strikes, all you can do is protect the plate. You can't get real big in this situation. You saw his numbers with runners in scoring position. He's been very good coming up with clutch hits.
Blue Jays would love to get one here in the very first inning and take an early lead. Again, the 0-2. And it runs off the outside corner on the appeal, no swing, and it's ball 1.
As big as Smoke is, and obviously as much power as he has, with 2 strikes, he didn't have to think about getting big. It's a very inviting short porch and right. With 2 strikes, you can almost just use your hands and try to put it in play, and you got a chance to knock it out of the ballpark.
Donaldson, the runner at third. Saunders is the runner at first. 2 down in the inning, as Nova and McCann now agree on the side. 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. So the Blue Jays get a couple of hits, but leave them both on to the bottom of the first here in the Bronx. Back at Yankee Stadium, here's the lineup for the Yankees tonight, coming off their 6-0 win over the Blue Jays last night. Starlin Castro in the lineup again at second base and hitting in the 5 spot. Some outstanding numbers. A .444 career hitter against Marco Estrada, and Didi Gregorius, who started hot then cooled off. He's picking it up again, a 7-game hitting streak to the tune of a .357 clip.
Marco Estrada has been on some roll lately. He's gone 5 straight games with 5 or fewer hits, and he just hasn't had any luck. You see his record at 1-2. The ERA is outstanding at 2.61, and he's logged a lot of innings. He's pitched deep into ball games. Last time out against Minnesota, he went 8 innings for the first time, allowed just 3 hits and 1 earned run over that outing. So Marco Estrada has been as consistent as any starter the Blue Jays have in their rotation.
Holding both lefties and righties under a .200 average. He'll face Ellsbury, Gardner, and the red-hot Beltran here in the bottom of the first. Ellsbury's pretty hot himself, hitting .360 in the month of May, .281 overall. No Mark Teixeira in the lineup tonight because of a sore neck. No Alex Rodriguez again. A-Rod one more game at AA Trenton, rehabbing that hamstring injury, and Buck, from the sounds of it, he could be back for the afternoon game tomorrow.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to play tonight, and then we'll return to New York and be ready and available for tomorrow afternoon's game.
And a reminder, it's a 4 o'clock start. First pitch just after 4 o'clock. Blue Jays Central at 3:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon here from Yankee Stadium. 1-1 on Ellsbury. Estrada making his 9th start of the season, had a terrific year last year, 13-8 with an ERA of .313. You almost forget this part, that he didn't start the year with a rotation last year, that he was in the bullpen at the beginning of the season, moved into the rotation in early May and pitched brilliantly the rest of the way.
Yeah, he didn't make his first start until May 5th and just really picked it up, and once he got confidence in that cut fastball, that's when he really took off. Biggest thing for Estrada, and it's the same for any pitcher, it's all about location. He rarely throws over 90 miles an hour, and he understands that. He knows who he is, and all he wants to do is execute pitches. If the catcher calls for it, he just thinks about the mechanical aspects of throwing it correctly. I love that when Russell Martin takes the theory out of Estrada's approach. He didn't have to think about why he's doing what he's doing. He just thinks about how he executes what Martin wants.
Two and two the count on Ellsbury. And the pitch. And a fastball hit high in the air to right center field and deep. Back is Bautista, tracking it just in front of the wall for out number 1.
Bautista ran that one down on the warning track. It looked like it had a chance to get out of here, but it stays in the yard. Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. It's Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista in the outfield. On the infield, Donaldson and Goins on the left side. Ryan Goins starting in place of Troy Tulowitzki is going to have a couple days off. Devin Travis at second, Smoke at first, and Russell Martin behind the plate for Marco Estrada. Devin Travis last year made 60 starts at second base. He committed just 6 errors. His last game was July 28, 2015. So it's been a long time since he's been back in a major league ball game. He made his debut right here at Yankee Stadium on opening day last year.
9 games on his rehab assignment, 4 at Single A Dunedin, 5 at Triple A Buffalo. He saw Troy Tulowitzki. A bit of a quad injury that he suffered stealing a base last night. They don't think it's a long-term injury. The Blue Jays don't think it's anything close to a DL stint. But with Tulowitzki out, they wanted Devin Travis. They wanted another position player, another infielder available. And also, quite frankly, with them not scoring, they're looking for any kind of possible spark they can find. So Travis is back. Pat Venditti was outrighted to the minors, and that leaves the Blue Jays with just 11 pitchers right now. That's not going to last very long. You got to believe they're going to go back to 12 pitchers fairly soon, and that some position player on the team now will not be within the next several days.
Yeah, you would think so, and obviously because you have to carry so many relievers now, that 11 pitchers just isn't going to get it done.
Two and two the count on Gardner, hitting .241, 5 home runs on the season. And the pitch from Estrada, change up and a swing and a miss for out number 2. Opponents are hitting, Buck, 119 off Marco Estrada's changeup this season.
And everybody knows he's going to throw it, and they know he's going to throw it with 2 strikes, and you still can't hit it. That's a great illustration of the grip. That grip takes all the velocity off the pitch. He's got the same spin as his 4-seam fastball, which is very important because hitters see the spin, they think fastball, and they're out in front of the changeup.
Here's Beltran taking all the way, and he takes a changeup outside, ball 1. Beltran hit a home run last night. He's on some kind of a tear over his last 5 games. Pops this one up. Martin right near the plate. He's got a following Beltran to make the catch. Beltran wasn't sure where the ball was, but Martin is able to make the catch, and Estrada has a 3-up, 3-down inning.
Members, it is time to log on to My Blue Jays and enter the following code, MBJ1738. You do that, you'll earn My Blue Jays points simply for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. Code must be entered by 11:59 tonight, and we will have a new code for you tomorrow. Now let's get you back to Dan and Buck on a beautiful night here in New York.
That it is, Barry. Thank you very much. No scores. We go to the second inning here in the Bronx. And again, Blue Jay fans scattered around the ballpark here in New York. It'll be Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar, and then Devin Travis, 6, 7, and 8 in the Blue Jay lineup. Martin looking to get on track, hitting 172 on the season as he takes a fastball low for ball one. Popped in the air to shallow center. And routine for Ellsbury, one down. Now Kevin Pillar. His average of .244 right now and 0 for 10 in his career against Nova. The guys with the numbers against Nova are the top 3 hitters in the lineup: Bautista, Donaldson, and Encarnacion. Fastball at the knees, a called strike.
Yeah, Nova's got a very good curveball, as we mentioned, and I think that'll give younger hitters more of a problem than more veteran hitters because they have a tendency to chase that breaking ball when it's not a strike. So when you get a fastball, you better not miss it. That's the old saying. The young kid in spring training says, "Dad, how do you hit a curveball?" I said, "Don't miss the fastball."
In Nova's 3 starts with the Yankees this year, he's gone 4 2/3, 5 2/3, and then 6 innings. But he's actually thrown fewer pitches the deeper he's gone to the game. He threw 81 in his first start, 74 in his second, and against Oakland in his last start needed only 62 pitches to get through 6 innings. He's given up 1 earned run in each of his 3 starts, and in each of those 3 starts that 1 run came on a solo home run. So he's pitched well. And there's the curveball with the count in his favor, and that's out number 2. And that will bring us to Devin Travis's first at bat of the season with the Blue Jays, a moment that he's been waiting for a long, long time, Buck.
Well, it sure is, and he had such a disappointing end to his season last year, and he had to sit on the sidelines during that great pennant run the Blue Jays put up into the postseason. And good numbers last year, and he hit over 300 in just 9 games in the minors. Really not much of a test, but when you think about what he did last year, a .304 average, 18 doubles, 8 home runs, 35 RBIs, all in 217 at bats. And I can tell you, speaking from experience, how he's got butterflies right now. I mean, it's been a long time since he's played. And he was with the club in spring training, had no baseball activities whatsoever during spring training, and then went on his own program, get back to baseball ready.
0-2 the count. And the fastball swung on and missed. Nova gets him on 3 pitches. And the inning is over. To the bottom of the second in the Bronx. Still no score.
Back to Yankee Stadium, Devin Travis said he knew at some point, since he was with the Buffalo Bisons, that he'd be making the call back to Toronto, but he did not expect it to happen last night. In fact, he was pulled out of the game after 8 innings and told he was going to be coming back up. Devin Travis is one of the most positive people that you'll ever run into, but he admits that he did go through some time of doubt. In fact, over the first 3 months of this injury, he said he could not even lift his arm over his head, and he was really starting to worry. Will I ever return? Will I ever get back? Well, he says thanks mostly to the training staff in Dunedin that worked with him every day. They pushed him not both physically, but mentally, and really gave him the drive to get back. And you couldn't find a happier person at this ball field today, guys, than Devin Travis.
Barry, thank you. And that was one of the problems, Buck, is they just couldn't find out what the issue was. He had exploratory surgery in September, which didn't find anything, and eventually had a second surgery during the offseason.
Yeah, he sure did. And they repaired his injury, top of his shoulder. What they did was they put a couple of screws in there and drew those bones together that never fused naturally. And it happened very young in his life. But then the stress of extending through that swing with that left arm put a lot of pressure on the shoulder. He just couldn't handle it.
Here's Brian McCann. Veteran catcher takes a strike at the knees, and the count is 1-1. McCann hitting .258, 6 home runs. Did not play in last night's game. 8 for 20, a .400 career hitter against Marco Estrada. That pitch in on his hands, and he pops it up in a shallow right field. And it'll be Goins, the shortstop, playing over out in shallow right with a shift on, who makes the catch, 1 down.
Well, this is how Estrada has pitched basically since he moved into the rotation last year. And we talked about Marco understanding who he is. You know, so many people get wrapped up in the radar gun, but Marco talked about the influence that Mark Burley had on him. And he said, Mark always told me, if you get a sign, trust the pitch, execute the pitch, and don't worry about why you're throwing it. Just throw it as well as you can.
Starlin Castro. Not only did Estrada pitch very well during the regular season last year, but he pitched 2 of the biggest games for the Blue Jays in the postseason. He won 2 elimination games, won Game 3 against Texas when the Blue Jays were down 2-0, and then won Game 5 against Kansas City to force it back to Kauffman Stadium for Game 6.
I think Game 5 was the finest postseason performance overall, given the fact Kansas City had scored 14 runs the night before, and he literally shut them out cold. Only that 8th inning home run to Perez.
1-1 has popped up in foul territory. Smoke has room, and it makes the catch, 2 down. And Buck, Estrada picking up this year right where he left off in the second half of last season.
Boy, he sure is. And you look at his numbers, and there was a concern. Well, is he going to miss Deanna Navarro because they had such a great relationship? But Marco himself said, listen, when Russell caught me early in the season, I didn't have the cutter. And then I gained confidence in the cutter, and I am really pleased with working with Russell Martin. He said, I've had the joy of working with 2 of the best catchers in baseball, in Martin and Navarro. So he has no problem whatsoever, and Russell has picked up right where Navarro left off last year.
Dustin Ackley, the batter. Ackley getting a start at first base for the Yankees tonight with Mark Teixeira out with a sore neck. Yankees, if Teixeira has any kind of a long-term injury, they've got a bit of a situation at first base. Greg Bird, who did so well last year when Teixeira got hurt, he's out for the season with an injury. So they don't have a natural backup at first base. Joe Girardi has put Ackley there. They've got Alex Rodriguez probably coming back tomorrow, but he would DH, pushing Beltran back to the outfield. So they're hoping Teixeira is not out for too long. Routine fly ball to center. 6 up and 6 down for Marco Estrada so far here tonight.
Jays for a Day contest for a chance to win great Blue Jays on-field experience. For details, entry form, and rules, go to bluejays.com/Bacardi contest. It closes on Thursday, June the 30th at 4:59. Ken?
Barry back here at Yankee Stadium. No score, top of the third inning. Marco Estrada set down the first 6 Yankee hitters that he's faced. The Blue Jays had a couple of base hits with a 1 out in the first, but could not cash in. Ivan Nova got them in order in the second. And it'll be the number 9 hitter and the shortstop tonight, Ryan Goins, leading off the third. With Tulowitzki out for what seems like a couple of days with a quad issue, Goins is the solution at shortstop right now. Still looking to get the bat going after hitting .250 last year, hitting just .148 so far this season. And again, with Travis back, there's a bit of a logjam right now in the middle infield.
Yeah, there sure is. Of course, Darwin Barney, he too is a fill-in. He can play second, short, and third. Same for Goins, of course. And then it becomes, who do you want on your team who can be utilized the best? And that'll be a decision John Gibbons and front office will have to make. But Ryan, he mentioned that last year he hit .250. Well, he hit about .285 for the last 2 months of the season. And it was a totally different approach. He's trying to recapture that stroke right now, of course. And Darwin Barney's gotten off to a great start.
Ground ball to second. 2 steps to his left. Starlin Castro, 1 down.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Remember when you go to the ballpark years ago, you could get a hot dog and maybe some popcorn? Now you can get anything you can imagine.
I'll tell you, if we'd known that was on the menu, we'd have passed on the pregame meal in the media dining room here tonight. That looked pretty good. Think we can do that tomorrow. We got another shot at it tomorrow. Here's Jose Bautista. Base hit through the left side. 3rd hit of the night for the Blue Jays.
Well, Bautista, his bat speed is coming around, and he got a hanging breaking ball right here. And Nova's lucky this stays in the ballpark. I mean, that's the one that Bautista knocks out of the ballpark more often than not, but he pulled it through left side for a base hit. He's hit well against Nova, and as Dan mentioned earlier, that home run was the first home run Nova allowed in the big leagues.
Back in 2010, it was Nova's first ever start in the major leagues, his 3rd appearance. Josh Donaldson had a base hit his first time up. Now 8 for 17 in his career against Nova as he takes down and away ball 1.
I spoke to Josh about the bunt, and that has been a point of a lot of conversation in last night's game. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. He drops down a bunt. He says, hey, it didn't work the way I wanted to. But he said, I thought we just needed some sort of spark to get going. He said, I haven't been swinging the bat great yet. Not like last year, and I thought it might be an opportunity to spark something.
Off the end of the bat to left field, and Gardner right there to make the catch. 2 down.
I think everybody in this lineup is trying to figure out what they can do to get back to basics. And Dan, last year you saw it, the Blue Jays passed the baton as well as anybody in baseball. And now I think they're all thinking about completing the whole race by themselves, and nobody can do that.
Everybody's squeezing the bat a little bit tight with men on base. Here's Edwin Encarnacion, had a bloop single to right back in the 1st inning. 2 down now. Bautista still at first. Shift on, so a huge hole on the right side as Encarnacion takes outside ball 1. Kind of amazing when you look at how the Blue Jays have struggled this year, and you see Bautista and Encarnacion both hitting down in the 230s, that they're both among league leaders in RBIs still. Bautista with 34 and Encarnacion with 32.
What's really remarkable about that, and McCann always looking to throw behind the runner. He got a ball that he picked in the dirt and came up firing the first. But McCann's always thinking about getting out of an inning without throwing another pitch to a big hitter like Encarnacion.
He's been a workhorse over the years, hasn't he, with Atlanta, now with the Yankees?
You know what? He came up as an offensive player, and he's turned into a heck of a catcher. Hard to believe this is his 3rd year already with the Yankees.
One of the good guys in the game, too. 2-0 the count on Encarnacion. 2 down in the inning. No score in the game. And the pitch. Curveball that misses just down and away for ball 3. And Encarnacion not even looking down to third, which means he's got the green light if he wants it. It's up to him. Michael Saunders waiting on deck. Got a pitch to hit, but he took it. 3-1. With the base hit, Encarnacion now hitting .355 in his career against Nova. 11 for 31. McCann slides to the inside, and the 3-1 misses inside, ball 4. So first and second with 2 down for Saunders.
No matter what the situation is, teams are really pitching Bautista and Encarnacion tough, and they just won't give in to Encarnacion. We have seen them throw nothing but pitches outside, and then when they do come inside, it's nowhere close. They just don't want to make a mistake on the inner half to Edwin.
Saunders bounced into a fielder's choice back in the first inning. He's had a very strong season, hitting for power, hitting for average, drawing some walks, getting on base at an impressive clip as well. He's hitting cleanup right now in this reconfigured lineup, as he takes a pitch right on the outside corner with the knees for strike 1.
Nova's got a little more movement with his fastball than I've seen in the past. It was a little straighter fastball, but tonight he's got that thing running pretty well down and away from the left-handed hitters.
And it doesn't look like he's missed a beat, considering he spent about 5-6 weeks in the bullpen. He is used to being a starter. He's been a starter almost his entire big league career. As mentioned, start of the year in the bullpen. This is his 4th start of the season. On an extra day's rest here tonight, as Saunders hits a little squibber foul, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, this is a concern for the Yankees, of course, and I know right now they're riding a pretty hot streak with their starting pitchers, but over the long haul, I think they have concerns. Luis Severino, the young rookie they were counting on so heavily, currently on a disabled list. He'll make a rehab start on Sunday, I believe, and then they'll try to figure out what to do with him next.
Nova the set. And the 0-2 bounced in a breaking ball, blocked by McCann, keeps it in front of him so the runners can't advance. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bautista still at second, Encarnacion at first. Remember that because the Yankees got some add-on runs last night, they didn't need to use Miller or Chapman, so they're both fresh. Betances could be available as well. So incumbent upon the Blue Jays to try to get a lead at some point to keep those guys out of the game in the late innings. 1-2, just inside, and actually looked like a borderline strike, but because McCann was set up outside and had to reach across his body, it looked worse than it was.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. It's supposed to be where the ball crosses the plate, not necessarily in relationship to where the catcher is. But you're right, it looked a lot worse than it was.
A look back at Bautista. And now the 2-2 curveball, check swing, and he went, says third base umpire James Hoy. Saunders strikes out, and the Blue Jays will leave 2 more men on base. 1 more look going to break as the Blue Jays strand a couple. As well as any pitcher in baseball, at least any starting pitcher, is not allow hits. An opponent's batting average of just 187 Buck so far this season.
And you look at the 5-man rotation, it's all very respectable in the opponent's batting average. Marco Estrada's average at 187 is 6th in the major leagues. He's allowed just 35 hits.
And there he gives up his first hit of the night as Chase Headley lines one through the shift into right field. Even if you look at Estrada's career numbers, and he has pitched better as a Blue Jay than he did anywhere else. One more look at the Headley base hit on the high fastball. Estrada's career opponent's batting average is 230. That's the 5th best of any qualifying pitcher in baseball since 2008 when Estrada made his major league debut. How about the group of 4 ahead of him? Clayton Kershaw, Chris Sale, Jake Arrieta, and Steven Strasburg. The only 4 pitchers with a better career opponent's batting average, or better average than since 2008 than Estrada. Now trying to bunt for a base hit is Gregorius, and he is safely across.
It's a base hit for Gregorius. He dropped down a beautiful bunt, and they were playing a little bit into the shift. So Donaldson came in, tried to make a barehanded grab, and I think it might have hit off the end of his finger, where he never really got a chance to grip the ball. Watch how he reaches for this, and it hit actually in the palm of his hand, so he didn't get a good grip. We have said this time and time again over the last couple of seasons. I've never seen a third baseman as consistent as Donaldson making that barehanded play.
So the Yankees in business now, 1st and 2nd, nobody out for the number 9 hitter Aaron Hicks. Getting another start in right field because Carlos Beltran is DHing with Alex Rodriguez still on the DL. And now maybe a cross up between Estrada and Martin as that pitch bounces away from Martin and the runners will advance.
Well, they're not talking, and they're not going to talk about it, so it makes you believe it wasn't a cross up, but the ball was in the dirt. Watch Russell's reaction as the ball's in the dirt. It's just a curveball that he never could get squared up on. What you want to do on that curveball is get your body into a little bit more of a right angle, so you keep the ball in front of you and hit off his chest protector, and everybody moves up.
So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Donaldson even with a bag at 3rd. The rest of the infielders backed up for the Blue Jays. And the 1-0 to Hicks, just off the outside corner of the knees, ball 2. So all of a sudden, a base hit, a bunt single, a wild pitch, and a mess here for Estrada in the 3rd inning in this scoreless game. Hicks, the former Minnesota Twin, 256, 11 home runs last year with the Twins. Lays off the changeup. Estrada will throw it in any count to any hitter, but now he's fallen behind 3-0. Missed outside, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Now, this is the way things have gone for the Blue Jays lately. They've had 4 base runners on. They've had opportunities against Nova. And after Estrada retired the first 6, you get a base hit, a bunt single, and now a walk, bases loaded, and all of a sudden Estrada's in a big jam.
And facing the top of the order, here's Jacoby Ellsbury, hit a fly ball to deep right center back in the bottom of the 1st inning. Bautista ran it down on the track. Big opportunity here for the Yankees. Fouled back 0-1.
Well, Dan, Marco's had enough success to understand he can't try to muscle his way out of this situation. He has to continue to pitch the way he has. Use the changeup, use the high fastball. You can't change your approach given the fact bases are loaded and nobody out. Can't try to strike out the side.
Never looks like his pulse rate quickens or anything, even when he's in this kind of a situation. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Change up in the dirt, a ball and a strike.
You make a good call on his pulse rate. He just knows he's got to pitch his way out of this. Can't worry about lack of run support or trying to throw a shutout every time you go to the mound. Just make your pitches.
Fastball hit in the air to left field, not that deep. Saunders will make the catch, and Headley takes a couple of steps, and that's it. Not deep enough for him to risk it, and that's out number one.
Well, that's a good start. He took the sting out of Ellsbury's bat and got a lazy fly ball to the left, and now you got to be thinking, okay, I just need a ground ball. You get a ground ball, and all of a sudden you pitched your way out of this situation.
And last year, as successful as he was more of a fly ball pitcher, getting more ground balls this year.
Yeah, absolutely more ground balls this year, and I think he understands the value of that cut fastball. That will get you ground balls because you take it off the barrel of the bat.
Of course, this is a very tough guy to double up. Brett Gardner runs well, bats from the left side. So even if they get a ground ball, maybe the best bet is to come home for one. Bases loaded, one out. Gardner struck out his first time up. Outside, ball one.
Gardner has only grounded into one double play this season, and he's always had success with the bases loaded. Never tries to do too much.
Middle infielders are at double play depth. You can see Donaldson in even with the bag at third, and Smoke playing off the bag right in front of the runner Hicks at first, as Estrada tries to get out of this jam. There is the ground ball to second. There's one, and no chance even for a throw to first. That's a fielder's choice, an RBI, and a 1-0 lead for the Yankees.
No chance at all to double up, and there wasn't a chance for Travis to come home. It was a ball you're staying back on, hoping to get a sharply hit one hopper right at you. It's the only chance you have to double up Brett Gardner.
You know, all things considered, if it's bases loaded, nobody out, and you get out of it with one run, you're probably okay with that from a Blue Jay perspective. And now Goins is heading to the dugout, I think, to get a new glove.
He caught that glove in the webbing of his mitt, and I think he might have broke a lace or something, because he looked at his glove as if he felt a different kind of reaction when it hit in the webbing. All those webbings are laced together with leather thongs, and he probably popped one of those laces. Watch the glove here, and you can see it's right in the webbing of his glove, and he's fortunate that it didn't pop right through it. So he's got his backup glove now, and they'll take his gamer and try to relace it quickly.
So a run in for the Yankees, first and third, two down for Beltran, who popped up in foul territory his first time up. He has 3 career home runs off Estrada in 25 at bats. Switch hitter batting from the left side against the right hand of Estrada, and a fastball in for a strike.
Yeah, he surprised him. He threw him a cookie on the first pitch to get ahead of him. Estrada had another pitch on his mind.
Rockies and Red Sox tied at 1. Bottom of the third at Fenway Park. Boston playing so well, 28-17.
They haven't scored, and it's the third already.
They just got their first run. Jackie Bradley did not get a hit in his first at bat. He's trying to extend that 28-game hitting streak. Ryan Hanigan homering for the Red Sox run. One high in the air to left field, but it's playable. Saunders backpedaling, hauls it in, and that's the inning. So the Yankees load the bases with nobody out, and they get one to take a 1-0 lead.
book a WestJet Plus fare. It's more than a seat. It's a premium experience for a smart price. A lot of Blue Jay fans here once again at Yankee Stadium, and a lot of them, Dan, taking advantage of that WestJet deal.
And enjoying some great weather, just hoping to see their team start scoring some runs. The Blue Jays lost 6-0 last night, and they're down to 1-0 tonight as this game moves to the top of the 4th inning. Whether it's New York, Baltimore, Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, Minneapolis, Seattle, you see it more than anybody. Blue Jays fans all over the place at road games.
Yeah, they really travel well, and obviously they're Canadians living in the States all over the place, and they love to root for their national team, if you will.
Justin Smoke will lead off the 4th inning and take a curveball just outside for ball 1. After Smoke, it'll be Russell Martin, then Kevin Pillar. Devin Travis, if anybody reaches. Travis struck out in his first at bat. Line to left field. Gardner is there to run it down for out number 1.
One thing we don't talk a lot about is the outfield defense for the Yankees, and Gardner's basically a center fielder playing left, which you really need in this spacious outfield. Both Ellsbury and Gardner can really cover a lot of ground, and now with Hicks in right, the younger former center fielder himself, they have 3 center fielders in the outfield that can cover this spacious outfield for Joe Girardi.
Here's Russell Martin, hit a fly ball to center, his first time up. Buck, the San Francisco Giants just walked off the Padres. Brandon Crawford with an RBI single in the 10th inning. The Giants have won 13 out of 14 games.
Yeah, they're red hot, obviously, and only the Yankees and the Giants have taken charge in this month of May. They're the 2 best teams in baseball.
And the Giants are getting some great performances out of some new pitchers. Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija both pitching very well. Of course, Madison Bumgarner is one of the best in baseball. Martin grounds out for the 2nd out. Here's Pillar.
Matt Cain and Jake Peavy have both pitched well since the Blue Jays left San Francisco. Especially Matt Cain. He's really stepped it up a notch. Bruce
Bochy saying that he feels like Cain is pretty close to being the Cain of old. Peavy's been hot and cold, but boy, if you've got 4.5 out of your 5 starters going well, generally speaking, you're going to be doing well. Although Blue Jays fans would say, well, heck, you know, the Blue Jays have had that at times this year, and they're not doing well because the other parts of the team aren't going well at all. But the Giants have a deep lineup, good bullpen, a lot of veterans on that team. Still have a handful of guys who were part of the 2014 and 12 and 2010 World Series champions.
Key guys, key players.
Yep. And it is an even year. Fair ball. And Pillar beats it out.
Kevin Pillar gets an infield hit, and Chase Headley won a Gold Glove in 2012 for the San Diego Padres, and that's why. He's got great reactions, goes into foul territory to glove this hot shot. This was a double all the way, and then Headley, his throw is high, and you can see Ackley making the stretch, but look where Pillar steps on the bag. He steps right in the middle of the base. Had it been a little bit closer, he needs to hit the front edge of that base instead of stepping right on top of it, but that's his first hit in his last 8 at bats.
Let's see if he's in the mood to run. With 2 outs in the inning, the batter is Travis. Pillar bluffs a start as Travis takes a strike. Pillar has 4 stolen bases on the season. Travis struck out in his first at bat. Travis hit .304 last year with the Blue Jays, hit .306 in 9 games on rehab at Single-A and Triple-A before getting recalled today.
Well, this is a perfect time to run for the Blue Jays. You got 2 outs. You got basically a leadoff hitter in Devin Travis, and Pillar runs well.
Not going, pitch out, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, McCann has only caught 4 of 25 base stealers this year, so the percentages are definitely in your favor. And the way the Blue Jays have struggled to score runs, why not roll the dice? Maybe they'll throw it in the center.
Opens up a big hole on the right side too if he's running. Here's a chopper hit weakly toward the left side. Charged by Headley. Bobbles and drops it, and everybody is safe.
Well, the Blue Jays have 2 hits. Neither one of them has left the infield, but Devin Travis gets an infield hit. That was a do-or-die play for Chase Headley at third. He got a glove on it, but he went into his glove to grab the baseball, and he got nothing but glove. You can see how his hand is stuck on the top of his glove. Never got a grip on the baseball, and he can't make a play.
So the 5th hit of the night for the Blue Jays. That one an infield hit for Travis. And for the 3rd time in 4 innings, they've got 2 men on. Unable to cash into the 1st inning or the 3rd inning. Let's see what Ryan Goins can do here in this situation. Goins grounded out in his 1st at bat. Good speed on for the Blue Jays. If Goins can do something here with the bat as he chases that hard breaking ball in the dirt. 0-1.
All you need here is a base hit. Obviously, with 2 outs, you got the big man behind you, and you just got to keep the inning going. But those big hits have been hard to find for the Blue Jays lately.
Oh for 8 with runners in scoring position last night. 0 for 3 so far tonight.
Yeah, and we talk about know who you are in reference to Marco Estrada. Well, it's the same for the bottom part of this lineup. Just understand who you are. Shorten up, put the ball in play, try to get a base hit to the opposite field. Maybe you cash one in, but you get Bautista to the plate with runners on.
1-1. Curveball, and he seemed to recognize that one a little bit earlier than he did the first one. Took it low for ball 2.
When you think about going to the opposite field, you allow yourself a little bit more time to determine whether it's a fastball or a breaking ball. When you try to pull everything, you have to make split-second decisions.
Pilar and Travis aboard. 2-1 pitch on the way. Curveball just outside, ball 3.
Now Goins has to believe he's going to get a fastball with Bautista on deck, but you have to think of a fastball for a base hit, not a fastball for a 3-run homer.
A more intricate set of signs because of the presence of Pilar out at second base. Nova behind in the count, 3-1. Here it comes. It is a fastball, and it's lined into right center, a base hit, and it may be more. Pilar is in to score. Travis digging for third, getting the wave home. Here comes the relay to the plate. Skips off the glove of McCann. 2 runs are in, and Goins takes third on the play.
Boy, what a pretty swing by Ryan Goins. He got his fastball, didn't try to hit it into the seats, put a good swing on it, and is rewarded with a 2-run double. For Goins, that's just his 5th double of the season, but you talk about a timely hit. A couple of infield hits with 2 outs, and then Goins delivers the 2-run double. It's a 3-1 fastball. He's short and quick to the ball and drills it into the alley in right center. Pilar comes in to score, and Travis gets the wave, and then McCann can't make the play on the short hop. It was going to be close at the plate, but McCann couldn't come up with that short throw.
2-run double for Goins. He takes third on the error charge to Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, on the relay throw home. And here's Jose Bautista.
Short swing, line drive, and Goins running all the way. He knows there's 2 outs, so he has to keep his head up, watch the play unfold, and then when Gregorius' throw gets away from McCann, Goins is able to move into third.
Big hit. He's pumped up. Teammates probably relieved, finally seeing a clutch hit here in this series. It's a big one, a 2-run double, and the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead here in the 4th. Devin Travis with that infield hit with 2 down, and he comes in to score on the play. He's worked up a sweat already here tonight. He's just thrilled to be back in the big leagues. Just thrilled to be back healthy and playing again.
When you're away from your team with an injury, it's like you have no relationship whatsoever. You're on an island.
Bautista the batter. Popped up in the first and a base hit in the third. And Nova behind in the count. Here's the 2-0 and a broken bat roller out to short. Up with it Gregorius, and that's the inning. For the Blue Jays cash in their number 9 hitter Ryan Goins, who had been 0 for his last 15, comes up with a clutch 2-out 2-run double, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
Year long live on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bats to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live video game highlights, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball. He's watching it right now there, Dan. You see that?
He just may be. Thanks, Barry. 2-1 Blue Jays over the Yankees going to the bottom of the 4th. After the big 2-run double by Ryan Goins, here's Brian McCann to take a fastball for a strike from Marco Estrada. Shift on for the Blue Jays, as is always the case when a guy like McCann is the hitter. Left-handed bat, pull hitter, doesn't run well. After McCann, it'll be Starlin Castro and then Dustin Ackley. This is a quick 3-game homestand for the Yankees. This series is the homestand, as that one is lined out to Travis for out number 1.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Back in the Bronx, as we mentioned, just a quick homestand for Joe Girardi's Yankees. They just came back from Arizona and Oakland, won 5 of 7. Had an off day, these 3 games here. Then they go on the road for 10 more. 3 at Tampa Bay, 3 in Toronto next week, a makeup game in Detroit, and then 3 in Baltimore. Tough stretch. 17 out of 20 on the road and 40 games in 41 days. The only off day was on Monday.
Yeah, and it's especially tough when you have older players. Beltran, A-Rod, Teixeira, even Brian McCann. You're going to have to make sure you give him plenty of rest to keep him sharp.
3-0 to Castro. The Blue Jays will see CC Sabathia tomorrow. It's a matchup of left-handers. Jay Happ will be on the mound for the Jays. The first pitch just after 4 o'clock Eastern time.
The Blue Jays have switched their starters from Sanchez to Jay Happ. And it's a good move for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Yankees, good left-handed bats and switch hitters in this ballpark. You start Jay Happ, you keep the lefty power in check. And then Sanchez gets an extra day.
Second walk given up tonight by Estrada. So Sanchez will open up the series against the Red Sox on Friday night. 12-game stretch where the Blue Jays play only the Yankees and the Red Sox. Obviously games of extreme significance, and it doesn't get a whole lot easier after that. After that, they play the Tigers and then the Orioles. Then they've got that home and home 4-game deal, 2 here, 2 there against the Phillies, who are playing well. They're 5 games over 500 right now, and then another series with the Baltimore. So some big series coming up. 7 games with the Orioles in the middle of June.
That's where the schedule really plays in the Blue Jays' favor. The Yankees, this is just their 17th game against the American League East this season, while the Blue Jays are playing in their 25th game. Blue Jays have had a heavy load of AL East teams early in the season.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The count on Ackley. At 0-2, the Blue Jays went into the shift, and a lot of conversations right now. Remember, Goins is playing short. He hasn't played a ton of short this year, so he's in conversation with Donaldson. That's probably about a ground ball. Who's taking the throw and what kind of a double play situation? Line to right field. Bautista makes a running catch. 2 down.
Yeah, when you play in these exaggerated shifts, you have to let the pitcher know who's going to be covering, so he can anticipate which side of second base to look for. Whether it's Donaldson who's playing there, but now of course with 2 outs it's not an issue. But when you play in all these exaggerated shifts, you have to make sure everybody on the infield understands who's covering the bat.
So now a different kind of shift. Now Goins goes out into right field. Travis is where he would normally be as a second baseman, and Travis and Donaldson were just having a conversation about coverages.
Goins has the best arm on the infield, so he will go out into right field, and he will have that long throw if he has to go much to his right.
Chase Headley singled and scored last inning. Russell Martin was expecting a strike call there, didn't get it. And Estrada's frustrated with himself falling behind hitters.
He goes through this sometimes once a game, where he'll have a stretch of 3 or 4 batters where he loses his pinpoint command, and it frustrates him. But oftentimes he can make a quick adjustment and get it turned right around.
But not here, as he walks his 2nd of the inning and 3rd of the night, and that will push Castro into scoring position and bring Didi Gregorius to the plate.
Pete Walker a little concerned about the walks. The Yankees had 4 walks in the game last night, and that's a pivotal number for them. They are 12-6 when they get 4 or more walks in the game, and they've won their last 9 games when they get 4 walks. They're a very experienced veteran lineup that will take advantage of those base on balls.
You can see not the kind of ratio Estrada's looking for there. 26 balls, 27 strikes. Gregorius had a bunt single his last time up. Pops it up into left field. Goins out, Saunders in. Saunders the catch, and the inning is over as the Yankees leave 2 men on here in the 4th inning. 2-1 Blue Jays at the end of 4. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
net. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
New York City, the home for the Blue Jays for this 3-game series. A 6-0 win for the Yankees last night, a 2-1 lead for the Blue Jays tonight. Boy, summer hit with a vengeance here in Manhattan today. Up over 30 degrees Celsius, close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And people were out in droves in the city today. Always a great walking city.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You talked to a lot of the native New Yorkers, and they were raving about how quickly it warmed up, and all of a sudden it went from early spring to midsummer.
Here's Josh Donaldson, 1 for 2. Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Saunders coming up for the Blue Jays here in the 5th inning. Blue Jays out hitting the Yankees 6-2 and leading 2-1.
That fastball ran off the plate and continues to move well, but he has fallen behind 3-0. Mentioned in Nova's last 3 appearances against the Blue Jays, he's 0-2 with an 1188 earned run average.
3-0 green light and a fly ball to left field. Gardner. Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier the Rockies and Red Sox were tied at 1, just working off our scoreboards here. There must have been a review about a home run, because we saw online Ryan Hanigan had homered, but it's gone from 1-1 to 2-0. So I guess the home run was overturned, maybe on a replay review, because the Rockies, according to what we're seeing online right now, have a 2-0 lead on the Red Sox, top of the 4th at Fenway Park. So a little good news in the early going for the Blue Jays on the out-of-town scoreboard.
And Hanigan has a hit, which is kind of unusual.
Maybe it turned into a double.
Yeah,
yep.
And they weren't able to take advantage of it.
Orioles are up 1-0, top of the 1st in Houston, and Tampa Bay's trailing Miami 3-1 in the top of the 4th. They had a wild one in Texas today, 15-9. The Rangers over the Angels. Nomar Mazara, the youngest player in the major leagues, Blue Jays got their fill of him over the last couple of weeks, hit a 491-foot home run. He is something else.
You know who else has done a nice job for the Rangers? Bobby Wilson, the catcher. He was 4 for 4 today, and the Blue Jays saw him hit a grand slam when they were down in Arlington.
And he was traded away from Texas to Detroit and then back to Texas in the span of a few weeks.
It was kind of a loan, Dan. Just a loan.
And Yu Darvish is starting Saturday for the Rangers. He's back. That's a good team.
And he's throwing very well. He has healed from his Tommy John. Texas at the start of play today, 1.5 games behind Seattle, and boy, the Seattle Mariners, they get a little bit lost because they're so far out west, but they have 18 road wins so far. Those are the most road wins in the majors.
Encarnacion lifts one down the line out of play.
Generally, Seattle is a very good home ball club because of that ballpark. It's tailor-made to their pitching. But that's not been the case early on in the season. They're 9-11 at home and 18-7 on the road.
Encarnacion giving Nova a battle here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. For the first time in 30 starts today, Jake Arrieta gave up more than 3 earned runs. He allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings. 29 starts in a row allowing 3 earned runs or fewer, and this is regular season only, is a major league record. That streak came to an end today. The Cubs still won the game in a wild one over the Cardinals 9-8. Count remains 2-2 on Encarnacion. Curveball and a swing and a miss, 2 down. 5th strikeout of the night for Nova.
Well, he put that pitch in the perfect spot after coming inside with the fastball. He got a foul chip, and then he goes down and away with the curveball. And watch the rotation of this thing. It is right over the top, and McCann receives it perfectly as it is down and away, and Encarnacion swings over the top of it.
So 2 down and the base is empty for Michael Saunders as the Yankees put the shift on. Saunders has bounced into a fielder's choice and struck out. 2-1 the Blue Jays lead as they bat here in the top of the 5th inning in the Bronx. One other interesting note from the out-of-town scoreboard: the Mets picked up a win today over Washington. It was a 2-0 win, and Steven Matz, who doesn't get nearly the attention that some of the other big name starters in that Met rotation get, 8 shutout innings. He's now 7-1 with a 2.36 ERA. Well, they need all of that with the way Matt Harvey is struggling right now.
Yeah, Matt Harvey, and once again Terry Collins has said that Harvey's going to make his next start. They really don't have a lot of options. They just hope that Harvey can get sorted out.
Here 2-1 Blue Jays. Michael Saunders, a 1-1 count. And that looked like a changeup, one of the rare changeups that Nova throws.
Yeah, he didn't throw many of them, but you can see he's 87 miles an hour. He took a little bit off of that, and here the Yankees go into their defensive realignment. Chase Headley was the lone defender on the third base side of second. Now he moves straight away at second, and Gregorius returns to shortstop.
On the appeal, no swing. Full count. Justin Smoke on deck should the inning continue. Three-2 on the way. Curveball low and a 2-out walk issued to Saunders.
Nova threw such a good curveball to Encarnacion for the strikeout. He thought he'd come right back and try to get Saunders to chase, but Michael is aboard for the second time tonight.
And here's Smoke. 0 for 2 on a strikeout and a flyout. Strike one.
Oh, that was a high breaking ball. That's the one that most hitters will come out of their shoes to swing at, especially left-handers in this ballpark. Just hit a fly ball to right. It's got a chance to get out.
There's 314 down the right field line here at Yankee Stadium. Fouled off to the left, and it's 0-2.
I went back and looked at the dimensions of the original Yankee Stadium in comparison to what they are now. What a dramatic difference. In that alley right there where the bullpen is, it was 457 in the original ballpark, 461 to straightaway center, and 407 to that scoreboard in right center. Now it's 385 to that scoreboard, and they've really shortened up the dimensions of this ballpark.
So that's Yankee Stadium before the renovation in the mid-70s.
Yes.
457 to left center field. Good luck with that.
It was from 1937 till their last season, 1973, when they shut down Yankee Stadium. They renovated it. They changed the entire configuration and certainly shortened the fences.
Fly ball to left field. Gardner right there, and that'll end the inning. No runs, no hits, and a man left on. We're going to the bottom of the 5th in the Bronx. The Blue Jays are up 2-1.
events throughout the season. For a list of all Jays Care events during the 2016 season, visit jayscare.com. And Dan, whether it be the auction live on Sportsnet or golf tournaments, they do such a fantastic job raising money for Jays Care.
They do. I know I'm going to be involved. Russell Martin's got a poker tournament in August with all proceeds going to the Jays Care Foundation. Looking forward to that.
That'll be a first, and they do a great job with all the promotions. And Josh Donaldson has the baseball bowling event, and there's quite a few things going on for the Blue Jays.
Going bottom 5, 2-1 Blue Jays as Aaron Hicks leads it off. Hicks walked his first time up. You know, you were talking about the dimensions of old Yankee Stadium, 457 to left center, way back in the day. There was always a rumor, and whether this is myth or fact, I don't know, maybe you do, that the Red Sox and Yankees discussed a trade. Joe DiMaggio for Ted Williams. Joe DiMaggio had to hit here, right-handed batter, pull hitter generally, 457 to left center. What if he were at Fenway Park with the Green Monster? What if Ted Williams, a left-handed pull hitter, were here at Yankee Stadium with the short porch and right? Wouldn't that have been something if two of the game's all-time legendary players had been traded for one another?
It would have changed history for sure when you think about DiMaggio hitting at Fenway Park in that Green Monster. But then there would have been no Yankee Clipper. Well, there's some great old stories about the potential trades and, of course, the great rivalry between Boston and New York. But Ted Williams, can you imagine? He was such a great pull hitter, and he could pull that ball down that line. He had a short porch with the pesky pole, but boy, it jutted out quickly there at Fenway Park.
Fourth walk given up tonight by Estrada, and the second time that he's walked a number 9 hitter.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful night here at Yankee Stadium. Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez with you. 2-1 the Blue Jays lead. Leadoff man aboard for the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. And here's Jacoby Ellsbury 0 for 2 on a couple of fly ball outs. Here's a guy who's played for both the Red Sox and the Yankees. And now Russell Martin, a little worried about the lack of command being exhibited by Marco Estrada, is going to walk that baseball back out to the mound.
After retiring the first 6 batters he faced in this ballgame, Marco has walked 4 in the last 3 innings. And remember, that's that magic number for the Yankee hitters. When they get 4 or more walks in a game, they've won their last 9 games in those such games. And for the season, they're 12-6. When they draw 4 or more walks in a ball game.
(1-0) and a high strike. Estrada will take it. It's 1-1.
Marco's done a great job of making adjustments throughout the course of the game, and those are unusual numbers for a starter. Normally they're reversed. Marco wants a different baseball, and as we mentioned, he's had these stretches in games this season where everything is just a little bit off, whether the ball feels too big in his hand, whether he can't really finish with that changeup. But he has now learned how to make quick adjustments. He got out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation, allowing just 1 run.
Crowd getting into it now a little bit more. A wave here from the Bronx as Ellsbury fouls it off 2-2. Meanwhile, at Fenway, Buck, Jackie Bradley Jr. We mentioned Joe DiMaggio. Jackie Bradley Jr. has extended his hitting streak. Had a base hit in the 4th inning in his 2nd at bat. He's now at 29 games.
Isn't that interesting? And it's such a long streak, and nobody ever expected that Jackie Bradley Jr. would be the guy that would put up a hit streak. Maybe Mookie Betts, maybe Pedroia, maybe Bogarts, but not Jackie Bradley Jr.
Red Sox have tied the game at 2.
John Farrell has talked about the hit streak for Bradley Jr. and says he's hitting with confidence, and he's not thinking about it because he's taking a lot of walks at the same time. He's really getting on base at a high rate during this hit streak.
He came into the season as a guy where there was still some discussion. Could he hit enough to be a regular major leaguer? He's going to be on his way to the All-Star game the way that he's playing right now.
Well, you'll remember he had that stretch in August last year, and the Blue Jays saw it firsthand where you couldn't get him out. And he hit everything, and he had a couple of extended hit streaks during that stretch into the first week of September. Then he kind of cooled off, and everybody forgot about that. Everybody but Jackie Bradley Jr.
Of course, the record belongs to Joe DiMaggio. 56 games set back in 1941.
Well, you know, as much of an accomplishment as that was, I think he had it easier than hitters have today, because starting pitchers would pitch the whole game. So he might extend his streak against a tiring starter.
Swing and a miss by Ellsbury for out number 1. Red Sox are all over the offensive leaderboards, including batting average. Bradley's teammate Xander Bogaerts leads the league at 349, and there's David Ortiz in the 5 spot. The Red Sox are doing a pretty good impersonation of the Blue Jays of a year ago.
They have 7 hitters in their lineup that are hitting over 300, and they have leaders all over the place in the offensive numbers. They have 3 in the top 10 in runs batted in: Ortiz, Bradley, and Betts.
If Jackie Bradley gets a hit in his next game, it will be the 54th time in baseball history there's been a hitting streak of 30 games or longer. And I mean a bunch of them. About half of those are either 30 or 31. He keeps this going for a few more days. He's getting up into some pretty rare air. Want to know the count on Brett Gardner?
Molitor had 39, right? And Pete had 44.
Molitor had 39 back in '87. Pete Rose had 44 in 1978. The last time anybody had a 30 or more game hitting streak was 2011. Dan Uggla had a 33 game hitting streak in 2011, and Andre Ethier had a 30 gamer.
Imagine that, getting a hit every game for a month.
There have only been 6 hitting streaks of 40 or more games in baseball history. Bradley is at 29. Blue Jays up 2-1. Estrada's fallen behind another hitter. 3-0 strike on the edge. 3-1.
Of course, Joe DiMaggio's hit streak was ended by 2 great plays by Kenny Keltner, the third baseman for the Cleveland Indians, and then he went on to hit in another 16, I think.
16, 17, one of those. So yeah, he was that close to a 70+ game hitting streak.
70.
Yeah. Well, in 1941, didn't Ted Williams win the Triple Crown? But Joe DiMaggio won the MVP.
Right. Amazing accomplishment.
Estrada battling without his best control tonight. Trying to fight back from a 3-0 count on Gardner. The lead at first by Hicks. Decent speed. He is running. And the 3-2 hit in the air to center field. Pilar going back will make the catch for the second out, and Hicks has to retreat to first base.
Now Marco continues to battle, and he has the ability to make pitches. And that just comes with the confidence that he's gained the last couple of seasons, where he's never really thinking about what situation he's in. He's just thinking about how he can pitch his way out of it.
So 2 down now, and here's Beltran. So hot coming into this game. 10 for 21, 7 extra base hits in his last 5 games. Rolls over on a ground ball. Up with it, Travis on to first, and Estrada, despite a leadoff walk and then a 3-0 count on Gardner, he gets out of it, and the Blue Jays have the lead after 5. in the American League over the last 3 weeks, and the biggest reason why, Buck, the offense has gotten better, but it's really been about the pitching most of it.
And you know what? No matter how long you talk about the Bronx Bombers, it's all about pitching. And Joe Girardi alluded to as much yesterday when we talked around the batting cage. He goes, you know, our starters have been great lately, and then of course you've got the great bullpen down there, but it's all about setting the tone for your team. And they've scored 4.5 runs a game, but when you really think about it, starting pitching will keep you into a ball game no matter what kind of offense you have.
Blue Jays 2, Yankees 1. Ryan Goins with a 2-run double in the 4th inning, driving in both Blue Jay runs tonight. It'll be Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar, and Devin Travis here in the 6th inning. And again, if the Blue Jays can continue to lead, maybe they can keep the likes of Betances, Miller, and Chapman out of the game. Martin is flied out and grounded out. Now he lifts a high fly ball to left field. Gardner's going back. Gardner's still going back, and it's gone. The first home run of the season for Russell Martin, as DeMarlo Hale tells you. That's number 1, and it gives the Blue Jays a 3-1 lead.
Well, Russell's had much better rounds of batting practice the last couple of days, and I can tell you, that's a weight off of his shoulders. Home run number 1. He had a career high 23 a year ago, and you can see the smiles in the dugout, happy for their catcher as he goes deep for the first time.
It took him 125 at bats to hit his first home run, and it extends the lead to 2 for the Blue Jays. Now Kevin Pillar, first pitch swinging, charged by Headley, and in plenty of time, 1 down.
Well, Russell has worked long and hard. He gets a fastball here from Nova out over the plate. He stays on it and hits it squarely on the barrel. And as big as this ballpark is, this was a no-doubter. And he knew when he touched it that he had enough of it to hit his first home run. Boy, that's a big home run for Russell and a bigger home run for Estrada.
Here's Devin Travis in his first game back. Travis has struck out and then had an infield hit and scored on the Goins 2-run double back in the 4th inning. If you were with us earlier, John Gibbons batting him down in the 8th spot, but says if Travis swings the bat well, that he won't wait that long to seriously consider moving him up to the top of the order. All depends on the kind of success and production that Travis provides. But if he does well, he could be leading off before too long. Troy Tulowitzki expected to be out a couple of days with that quad injury. Chased a fastball running in on his hands, and it's 1-2.
The only problem I have with Travis leading off is they tried it last year and he hit 202. He's a young player. He's a good player, and everybody thinks he's going to be a very good player for a long time. But why rush him into that leadoff spot? Blue Jays haven't had a legitimate leadoff hitter since Ben Revere, guy they picked up from Philadelphia last year. But John Gibbons has tried Tulowitzki, he's tried Saunders, he's tried Pillar, now Bautista.
Curveball and a swing and a miss. Nova strikes out Travis for the 2nd time tonight.
Devin Travis gets that big breaking ball. They don't have breaking balls like this in Dunedin and Buffalo. And you can see how he gets on top of it and creates that great overhand spin. It breaks down and away. The curveball's been a good pitch for Nova tonight. He got Encarnacion on a very similar pitch back in the 5th.
6 strikeouts tonight for Nova, all of them swinging. And here's Goins, who has the biggest hit of the game so far. A 2-out, 2-run double back in the 4th inning. In a lengthy at bat, Buck, he really battled, fouled off some pitches, and then lined one to right center field.
Yeah, he got a 3-1 fastball, and I think that was the biggest thing about it is he had a pretty good idea he would get a fastball with Bautista behind him on deck.
Boy, 2 good pitches, and it's 0-2. Looks pretty sharp. He's trailing, but he's pitching pretty well.
This is as good as I've seen him for a while. We mentioned the fact he didn't throw many changeups, but that last pitch looked like a good changeup in a good spot.
Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 7, and the inning is over. But the Blue Jays add a run, and what a big sigh of relief there must be for Russell Martin, his first home run of the season. 3-1 Blue Jays. Back at Yankee Stadium, you can see the walks have been an issue for Marco Estrada, but Bucky's done a nice job pitching out of a couple of jams tonight.
Well, he sure has, and when you look back to that big situation early in the ballgame, the Yankees had the bases loaded and nobody out, and he limited the damage to just a single run.
At 74 pitches as he works into the 6th inning. Facing Brian McCann, Starlin Castro, and Dustin Ackley. 3-1 Blue Jays trying to even up the series. Both bullpens are quiet at the moment. The shift is on for McCann, who has popped up and lined out.
You know, in this day and age, we keep track of everything statistically, and Marco Estrada has the lowest run support in the major leagues. Excuse me, in the American League. He is second to James Shields overall. Shields has been given a run support average of 1.99, and then Estrada is 209. Lowest run support in the American League.
That's how you have a 2.61 ERA after 8 starts and only 1 win. Strike right on the edge of the strike zone, says home plate umpire Chad Fairchild. McCann was on his way down to first. Now comes back with a full count on him. You could see he was out in front of that changeup, pops it up just back of the mound, and Josh Donaldson will make the catch, 1 down. Well, Estrada continuing what's been pretty much a season-long trend for the Blue Jays, and that is the best starting pitching in the division.
Yeah, and only that one trip through the rotation where they had problems, and that was prior to Estrada's start last Thursday in Minnesota. But the 5 previous starts, all the starters individually had problems, but boy, for the season they've been terrific. Everybody expected the Rays to have the best starting pitching, but the Blue Jays have outpitched them.
Castro up there hacking, skies a fly ball to left center, and just like that, 2 down. The Yankees have only 2 hits tonight. We talked about the opponent's batting average, under 200 against Estrada this year, and although he's kind of been bobbing and weaving at times because of the control issues, he's only given up 2 hits, and one of them was a bunt single. There's only been one hard hit ball really, and that was Chase Headley, who lined one into right field back in the 3rd inning. Here's Ackley, 0 for 2 on a couple of fly balls, and he takes a fastball at the knees.
And once again, Estrada, just like he started the ball game, he retired the first 6 to start the game, and now he's retired 5 in a row after the leadoff walk to Hicks last inning.
And he pops one up. Martin discards the mask, plenty of room, and that's the inning. 3 up and 3 down to go the Yankees. 3-1 Blue Jays at the end of 6. first ever major league start for Ivan Nova, and Jose Bautista, this is his 54 home run season. In his first at bat, hits a home run off Nova, the first home run Nova had ever given up in the big leagues. Bautista walked in his second plate appearance, and then in the third, Buck, a pitch up and in. Bautista not happy. Nova not happy that Bautista's unhappy. Look at Joe Girardi get out there and try to calm down Bautista. So a little history between these two from 6 years ago.
It was just the third major league game for Nova. He'd made 2 relief appearances, and then he started that game. And you saw that curveball that Bautista hit out of the ballpark. That was the same curveball that he singled on in the 3rd inning. And for that season, that was his 39th home run of the season against Nova.
Bautista leading off the 7th in a 3-1 Blue Jays lead.
Bautista would later on hit a home run in the 8th inning off David Robertson, his 40th home run of the season, and that was the difference in a 3-2 win for the Blue Jays. Bautista drove in all 3 runs.
Curveball for a strike, 1-1. 1 for 3 tonight is Bautista. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. 1 run, just 2 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees. Nice stop by Headley at third. Back to his feet, and he'll throw out Bautista. Activity in the bullpen for the Yankees. The left-hander is Chasen Shreve. The right-hander is Nick Goody. And this is the importance of having a lead over the Yankees in the late inning, is that Joe Girardi is reluctant to use any of his big 3 when they're trailing, obviously wanting to save them for leads, holds, saves, that sort of thing. So it's Shreve and Goody up in the pen right now. Girardi's working over the seeds.
Yeah, that's exactly where the Blue Jays want to see Betances, Miller, and Chapman sitting down in the bullpen.
Here's Donaldson, 1 for 3. And he was going to swing at that pitch no matter where it was. He was up there thinking, look at the smile on his face. He's thinking, I'm getting a fastball and I'm going after it. And you got a curveball.
He's telling Brian McCann, man, you crossed me up. I thought you were going to throw me a fastball. There you go, thinking again. Of course, the great Yankee, the late Yogi Berra, he had that great line, hey, you can't think and hit.
Good sinking action on that fastball, down and in. It's 1-2. Over 100 pitches right now, by far the most he's thrown in any of his 4 starts this year. Two on the way. There's the curveball, and Donaldson chases for the 2nd out.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
(3-1) Blue Jays as they bat here in the 7th with 2 outs and the bases empty. Edwin Encarnacion's had a base hit, a walk, and a strikeout. 8 strikeouts on the night for Nova. Shift is on. 3 on the left side of the infield against Encarnacion. Well, he throws a lot of curveballs.
Yeah, it's about 50-50 on the split fastball and curveball. Joe Girardi checking on the status of his bullpen, but as Nova tires, he's more patient with his delivery, and that curveball gets better because he doesn't try to muscle it.
Probably last batter here for Nova, left hand hitting Michael Saunders on deck. Nova at what now, 106 pitches. Left-hander Chasen Shreve ready in the pen.
Season high for Nova was 81 pitches. That was back on the 9th of May against Kansas City.
Yankees have to be encouraged, though, as he moves into the rotation because of the struggles, and then the DL assignment for Luis Severino. That got him. Got Encarnacion on the foot. So a base runner with 2 outs for the Blue Jays, and maybe the end of the line for Nova, and it is, as here comes Joe Girardi, and there's the signal to the pen.
So Nova cannot win this game. He'll leave trailing 2-0, and Chase Headley offering his congratulations for a job well done. He certainly kept the Blue Jays within reach for New York.
Here comes the left-hander Shreve on to face Saunders.
X-Men Apocalypse in theaters everywhere May 27th. Now let's get you back to Buck and Dan.
All right, Barry, thank you. Michael Saunders comes to the plate, and left-hander Chasen Shreve is into the game for the New York Yankees after 6 2/3 from Ivan Nova. Shreve has not pitched since Friday. He's a lefty with reverse splits so far this year, as you can see. Lefties are hitting .278 against him, albeit just a small sample size, relatively 5 for 18. Righties with a much higher number of at-bats are hitting .180. They're 9 for 50 against him. He was terrific for about 4.5 months for the Yankees last year as a rookie, then kind of ran into the rookie wall in September and had trouble getting outs in the last month of the season.
He made 59 relief appearances a year ago and had a 6-2 record with an ERA just over 3. Michael Saunders, he hasn't had any problems with lefties this season. Michael's hitting .298 with 4 home runs against lefty pitching.
On the appeal, no swing, and it's 2-0 on Saunders.
I think Michael has done a terrific job of looking for the ball out over the plate, kind of aiming toward the alley in left center, and when the lefties leave that breaking ball over the plate, he's hit it into the seats.
The runner at first, Encarnacion, 2 down here in the top of the 7th, with the Blue Jays holding a 3-1 lead behind Marco Estrada, trying to give him a little bit more of a cushion. Fastball for a strike, 2-1.
This is where lefties have a tendency to throw that breaking ball to Saunders, and he's surprised him with how well he's hit it.
Alex Rodriguez expected to be back with the Yankees tomorrow. Has hit a home run at Trenton tonight in what may be his final rehab game down at AA. Joe Girardi expecting A-Rod back tomorrow. That would push Carlos Beltran presumably back to right field, as A-Rod would DH. Swing and a miss, 3-2. So Jay Happ may face Alex Rodriguez tomorrow in the final game of this series.
The Yankees 13-6 without Alex Rodriguez, and that's going to kind of jam up Joe Girardi's plans. Beltran has flourished as the DH.
And the defense is better with Hicks in right field than with Beltran there. Runner will be on the move. 3-2 on the way, and a swing and a fly ball hit down the right field line. It is deep and it is gone. Saunders delivers against a lefty again with a 2-run shot, and the Blue Jays now lead 5-1.
Boy, what a season Michael has had against lefty pitching. Another breaking ball. They try to slip it by him with a full count, and he won't have any of it. That's his 5th home run against lefty pitching this season. And he's done a terrific job, so he messes up the Yankees' strategy as he goes against the left-hander Shreve and delivers a home run. He does such a great job of waiting back on that breaking ball, and he hasn't buckled at all against the lefties with those breaking balls.
Where would they be without, with all the offensive struggles this year, where would they be without Michael Saunders with what he's provided this season? 5-1 Blue Jays now on the 9th home run of the season for Saunders.
There's the breaking ball. It spins on the inside part of the plate, and Michael keeps his head down and hits it into the seats in right.
Justin Smoke turns around to bat from the right side against the left-hander Shreve. So Saunders has homered. Martin has homered. Saunders knew it right off the bat. And it's 5-1 Blue Jays, out hitting the Yankees now 8-2. Smoke tonight has struck out and flied out twice. Three and one.
A win tonight, and the Blue Jays are guaranteed a winning road trip. They went 3 of 4 at Minnesota, and they would split the first 2 games here. And then they have Jay Happ going. He's coming off a terrific start his last time out, although he lost to the Twins. He allowed just 1 hit through 7 innings and then gave up a hit and a walk in the 8th.
Well, there's no way to minimize the importance of the next few weeks for the Blue Jays, whether it's just the 12-game stretch against the Yankees and Red Sox, or whether you add in the next couple of weeks, which includes 7 games against the Baltimore Orioles. You never know, but it could be a make or break stretch for this team if they're going to be considered a contender or not.
Yeah, last night we talked about the 19-game stretch with the 12 games between the Yankees and the Red Sox, which began last night. Chance to really make up some ground in the AL East.
Orioles are tied with the Astros 1-1, bottom of the 3rd in Houston. Tampa Bay's trailing Miami 3-1 in the 6th, and the Red Sox are at it again. They are up 7-2 on the Rockies in the top of the 6th inning at Fenway. They have been relentless, is an understatement for what they have been so far. Bogarts has homered in the game. We mentioned Bradley's extended his hitting streak to 29 games. Travis Shaw has driven in 3.
Travis Shaw has been out of the lineup recently with a bad wrist, and now he's back in the lineup, and he steps right back in and picks it up where he left off. Bogarts with 26 ribbies, Bradley with 34, Travis Shaw with 32. Quite a lineup they feature.
3 of the top 5 hitters in the American League in terms of batting average. One of the few nights we haven't talked about David Ortiz doing something significant. 3-2 again, and here's a ball ripped to left field. This is well struck. This is over the head of Gardner and off the wall on the fly. Smoke on his way to second. The throw is offline, and it's a double for Justin Smoke. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Took Russell Martin 125 at bats to hit his first home run, and it's a no-doubter to left. Russell's been swinging the bat much better of late than the hitting coaches. Both Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens have been thrilled with the work that Russell's put into it, and finally he enjoys the work and hits the first home run. And that's a load off his mind. You can bet that he was really swinging it good today in batting practice and carried on into the game.
And they were nice enough not to give him the silent treatment or anything like that. They didn't make him sweat it out when he got back to the dugout.
Yeah, it's May 25th. Yeah. No time for a silent treatment for a veteran.
So Nova winds up giving up 4 earned runs, kind of like R.A. Dickey last night, where he pitched better than the line makes it look. 6 2/3, 4 runs, all earned charge to Nova. One of the runs, an inherited run that scored when Shreve gave up the home run to Saunders. And Smoke in scoring position with 2 down for Martin. Fastball there, 0-2. All is quiet in the Blue Jays pen. Marco Estrada will come back out for the 7th inning. He has thrown only 83 pitches through 6. So if he keeps going well, he could go 7 and maybe more importantly even 8. John Gibbons would love to just go from the starter to Roberto Osuna tonight if he can. That 8th inning has been a problem inning for the Blue Jays. Martin with a fly ball to right field. This is well hit, and it's his 2nd home run of the night. After going 124 at bats without a home run, Russell Martin homers in back-to-back at bats. He's pumped now. How do you explain this sport? How do you make sense of this?
Anybody that bets on baseball is nuts.
And even before that home run, the Blue Jays had recorded a first with Russell Martin and Michael Saunders both homering, the first time in Blue Jays history that 2 Canadians had ever hit a home run in the same game, and Russell Martin adding the exclamation point with his 2nd of the night. He had 1 extra base hit the whole season coming in, 1 double. Now he's hit home runs in consecutive at bats. He is fired up, and it's 7-1 Blue Jays.
Now this pitch is away, and this might be the best sign we've seen from Russell Martin, staying on that ball away and driving it out of the ballpark to the opposite field.
11th career multi-home run game for Russell Martin. More breathing room for the Blue Jays, up 7-1 as we take another look.
He gets his foot down very quickly and then really extends out over the plate. It's only the 4th time this season Russell's had 2 hits in a game. And fortunately, both have been home runs for Russell, and that gets him going.
The batter, Kevin Pillar. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and 4 here in the 7th for the Blue Jays. They've hit 3 home runs in the game. Don't forget the big 2-run double by Goins back in the 4th that got the scoring started for the Blue Jays. The other 5 runs have all come on homers. Solo shot and a 2-run homer for Martin and a 2-run homer for Saunders. So some CanCon, some Canadian content here tonight for the Blue Jays with Saunders and Martin. Reaching for it, Pillar. Headley from the cut of the grass, just in time to get him, and the inning is over. But what an inning it is for the Blue Jays. It was a close game, 3-1. Saunders extended it to 5-1 with a 2-run shot. Martin then with his 2nd of the night, 7-1 Toronto. baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Now, the Blue Jays have swung the bats here tonight. They've hit 3 home runs, one by Michael Saunders, and the first 2 of the year off the bat of Russell Martin. And it's 7-1 Blue Jays going to the bottom of the 7th. Marco Estrada back on the mound for the Blue Jays. He'll face the bottom third of the Yankee lineup. Boy, Russell Martin's got to be happy. The first one seemed more like a sigh of relief. The second one, he was fired up.
Yeah, and the second one was probably the best swing he's taken all season long. Not only because it went out of the ballpark, because the direction it was hit in. And that's one thing that when Russell starts hitting the ball to right center, that's when he generally is in a groove and things really start to take off for him.
So a 6-run lead going to the bottom of the 7th, and a strike taken by Chase Headley. Headley a base hit and a walk. He has scored the only Yankee run of the night. Estrada has set down 6 in a row. He's only given up 2 hits. Both of them came back in the 3rd inning. One of them was a bunt hit. He has walked 4, struck out 2, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Curveball fouled off, got a piece of Martin.
As sophisticated as that pitcher's gear is in this day and age, there's still shots that'll hit you in that shin guard that'll hurt. You can see how they have all those different flaps they're connected with netting, and that one hit him just inside the right ankle. That pad goes over to cover up that ankle bone, but boy, you hit squarely on top of it, it's still going to bite you.
Now Headley drills one to deep right field and gone. His 3rd of the season, and it's 7-2.
Second career home run Chase Headley has hit against Marco Estrada. He's had a perfect night at the plate. He singled and scored the first Yankee run in the 3rd. And now he is homered to start the 7th. That ball just stays up out over the plate. His single was on a high pitch. This one's about a belt high pitch out over the plate, and he hits it into the seats. Just his 3rd home run of the season.
Here's Gregorius, and a fastball at the knees for a strike, and some signs of activity out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays beyond that left center field fence, and it's going to be Joe Biagini coming out.
And we mentioned Biagini last night. Came into the game. He gave up an RBI infield hit to Jacoby Ellsbury, got the next batter out, and then was taken out of the game.
And now another fly ball to deep right field. Back-to-back home runs. Headley and Gregorius, and it's 7-3. Pete Walker to the mound as Biagini continues to get loose.
Another changeup, and this one just didn't have that sink on it. You can see it stays about mid-thigh high, and B.D. Gregorius, it's his 4th of the season, back-to-back for the Yankees here in the 7th.
Number 4 on the season for Gregorius. Another sign of how Biagini's kind of climbing the ladder in the bullpen. It was 7-2 when he got up. It's 7-3 now, but point being, he's now being considered and being asked to protect leads. The idea with the Rule 5 guy generally is he's the mop-up man. You pitch in blowouts. Blue Jays haven't had many blowouts really, but Biagini has pitched well, and Other guys have pitched poorly enough that Biagini's become a much more important part of the equation in the last week to 10 days.
The Yankees have gone back-to-back with home runs for the third time this season.
Curveball in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2. At 7-1, John Gibbons probably a lot more relaxed than he is right now, even though the lead is still 4. Fly ball to left field, but not deep. And Hicks is retired for the first out.
Yeah, at this point, what John Gibbons is thinking about, he's counting down outs. So that's the first out of the 7th. You know you got Osuna for the 9th, and then you work backwards for Osuna, trying to figure out how you can close out this game. Marco Estrada has now given up 6 home runs for the season. He's looking for his 2nd win.
Jacoby Ellsbury's 0 for 3. There's that cut fastball in for a strike. Osuna's been asked to get more than 3 outs on occasion this year, and when John Gibbons really feels they need a win, he won't be afraid to make that kind of decision. And even though they won 3 out of 4 at Minnesota, it feels like they need a win.
Yeah, definitely.
More than they typically do.
Well, I think you need a win to stop the Yankees win streak. Yeah. They have won 6 in a row, and you want to break their momentum. Got another game tomorrow. And it's a different test, you know. Yeah, 3 out of 4 against Minnesota, but they're the worst team in the American League. You got to beat the Yankees.
Blue Jays 3 games under 500 in last place in the American League East. Ground ball to Travis. Ellsbury retired, 2 down. Ellsbury now 0 for 4 tonight. They'll bring up Brett Gardner, who's 0 for 3. Only 4 hits allowed by Estrada, 2 of them including a home run to Headley, and 2 of them including a home run to Gregorius. The top 6 guys in the order are 0 for 18 against Marco Estrada with a 1 walk. That's it. Next pitch will be number 100. So can he get the last out here? Get the Jays through 7 and give John Gibbons some options heading to the 8th.
Marco Estrada coming into this game was 6th in the major leagues in hits per 9 innings. And he has averaged just 6.1 hits per 9 innings. And he is right on pace again tonight.
2-1. Blue Jays got 4 in the top half of the inning. The Yankees have come back with 2 here in the bottom half. That second home run by Russell Martin looks pretty important right now. 7-3 Blue Jays out hitting the Yankees 10-4. Pop back out of play, 2-2.
Well, the Blue Jays have seen so many games in this ballpark against the Yankees where the Yankees come back in the 8th and 9th inning. And yeah, they won 8 of 10 last year, but prior to that they had a horrific losing streak here.
Donaldson up with it, and the inning is over. The Yankees get 2 on back-to-back home runs, but then Estrada gets 3 outs in a row. 7-3, end of 7. Of fronts. Here at Yankee Stadium, the Blue Jays with a 7-3 lead. Russell Martin has homered twice. Michael Saunders has homered. Marco Estrada gave up 2 solo home runs in the 7th, but still 7 very strong innings tonight. Some run support, which is new this year for Estrada. And here's Devin Travis. If you were unaware, Devin Travis was recalled by the Blue Jays today, in part because Troy Tulowitzki's out for at least a couple of days, it seems, with a quad injury, in part because the offense is struggling. Travis has an infield hit and a couple of strikeouts tonight.
And Tulowitzki's replacement at shortstop, Ryan Goins, has a 2-run double. That erased an early deficit as Goins picks up RBIs number 7, and 8 for the season.
Now to play 2-1 on Travis. Goins with a 2-run double back in the 4th inning, open up the scoring for the Blue Jays. Then they would add on with the home runs by Martin, Saunders, and Martin again. Well hit to right field, but caught on the track by Hicks for the first out. So Estrada got through the 7th inning, over 100 pitches, and was that the end of the line for him? Sometimes you can just tell by the reaction when he heads into the dugout.
Yeah, everybody congratulating him for another fine outing. Obviously, he'd be disappointed with back-to-back home runs in the 7th, but he still is in line for the win. 4 hits, 3 earned runs over 7 innings.
Here's Goins lifting a fly ball to left field. So it looks like in the 8th inning, it'll be Joe Biagini coming in. He was up in the 7th. Estrada got out of it, but it looks like Biagini will work the 8th inning here tonight.
And that's what John Gibbons was thinking about last night when he took Biagini out of the game after pitching just 1/3 of an inning in the 7th. Joe threw just 9 pitches, so he's fresh for tonight.
Fourth start of the season for the Yankees. Pitched better than the line reflects, but was charged with 4 earned runs over 6 2/3. Looking at a loss unless the Yankees can mount a comeback here late in the game. Nick Goody, who was called up from the minors in late April by the Yankees, making his 8th appearance of the season, facing Jose Bautista. 2 outs and the base is empty. 7-3 Toronto, top 8. Bautista tonight 1 for 4, had a base hit back in the 3rd inning. The 6th game in a row in which he has been the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays.
Oh, he had a good cut at that high pitch. Bautista got a hanging breaking ball back in the third and ripped it to left for a base hit.
The 0-2 down and away. Bautista is going to have his hearing with Major League Baseball tomorrow morning on the appeal of the one-game suspension for the brawl against the Rangers. So if the appeal is upheld, he would sit out tomorrow. If it's overturned, then he's a free man. Pitch down and away 2-2. What do you think might happen?
I think there's a chance it could get overturned. And Jose said, you know, I didn't do anything wrong. I slid aggressively, but I was down. I didn't go after him. I didn't try to injure him. I just want to make my point. So it'd be interesting. I just hope they have their coffee early in the morning by the time they have their hearing. But, you know, I just hope he gets an opportunity to tell his side of the story.
Lace down the left field line, but he pulls it foul. What did that hit?
Somebody's beer.
Yeah, that's sure what it looked like.
Somebody tried to catch it with their beer, and it showered everybody down there. Now those kids are going to smell like beer all the way home. Look at them. They're all wiping themselves off. Geez, that was a $15 beer, too.
Let's see if this was an intentional or accidental attempt. That might have been an accident.
Looked like the guy in front distracted the person with the drink, and it knocked it all over everybody.
3-2. Up and in, way into Bautista for ball 4. That is his American League leading 39th walk of the season.
It's really commendable that he's been able to take so many walks, and everybody knows he's a free agent. Everybody knows that it's an important season for him. He wants to put up big numbers, but he has never chased borderline pitches. He's stayed patient with his approach.
So now Donaldson 1 for 4, had a base hit back in the first. Don't forget an afternoon game tomorrow. J. Happ and CC Sabathia. Blue Jays Central comes your way at 3:30 Eastern time. First pitch shortly after 4 p.m. Eastern. Then the Blue Jays head home tomorrow night. We'll open up a series at Rogers Center with the Red Sox on the weekend. Aaron Sanchez will get the call in the first game on Friday night. And I believe I saw that David Price is scheduled to pitch Sunday. Is that right?
Joe Kelly opens up Friday night against Sanchez, and then Rick Porcello against Stroman on Saturday, and David Price and R.A. Dickey on Sunday. David Price has all of a sudden gone 7-1. Of course, he's getting tons of run support with that offense.
Last 3 starts for him have all been kind of 6 or 7 innings, 2 or 3 runs. So he's figuring it out after what was a very difficult start. ERA still over 5. Headley and Gregorius giving chase. Won't have a play. So Estrada comes into this game with a 2.61 ERA and 1 win. Price has over a 5 ERA and 7 wins.
Yeah.
That's what run support means.
And that's why the statisticians and the analysts say that wins are overrated. You can see Marco Estrada's pitching great, and had he had the same run support as David Price, obviously there are more wins than the single win that he has coming into this game.
I agree with that, but if If you make me tell Jack Morris that, I want about a 50-yard head start on him.
Now, I'm with you. I still think wins are important. The starting pitcher pitches once every 5 days, and his job is to win the game. Chris Carpenter told me that when he was pitching for me. He said starting pitchers are supposed to go out there and win the game.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Goody. Well, one of the best ways you can win a game is just by staying out there longer than the other guy. And baseball has changed so much where now 6 good innings is considered a really good start. But if you can get through the 7th and maybe even the 8th and just turn it over to the closer, you got a great chance to win a ball game.
That was Jack Morris's advice to a very young Pat Henkin. He said, you know, kid, you know how you win in this league? You stay out there longer than the other guy.
I don't remember talking about pitch count a lot when Jack Morris was on the mound. Here's Encarnacion. 2 on, 2 out. And Goody can't find the strike zone.
Jack Morris always tells the great story about while pitching for Sparky Anderson. He was getting late in the game and his pitch count was up, but he wasn't concerned about it. Sparky was walking to the mound with his head down like he always did. Jack went and met him before he crossed the foul line. He says, I don't know who's warming up down there, but he's not as good as I am right now, so get back in the dugout.
Good meeting.
Okay, Jack.
Do you ever remember catching Steve or Clancy or Leal, anybody coming to the mound and saying, hey, you're at 120 or you're at a... You never heard that at all?
No. As a matter of fact, when I was doing my research for my book, I was sitting in Pat Gillick's office and I asked him, when did pitch count come in? He goes, I don't know. And Pat Gillick, of course, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's been around the game forever.
I think it came in about the time the Tommy John surgery spiked. When pitchers start getting hurt, I think everybody started worrying about pitch counts more. But that's a relatively recent phenomenon. That's a fair ball. Bautista will come in to score. Donaldson on his way to third on a long single by Encarnacion that makes it 8-3.
Well, it's a big hit for Edwin. Another run that the Blue Jays get back after the Yankees went back-to-back with homers in the bottom of the 7th. They get a run back. Bautista scores. Edwin picks up his 33rd RBI, and this is a hanging slider, and he's able to keep it fair just over the bag past Chase Headley. Bautista makes a good turn around third. Donaldson goes first to third, and Encarnacion has given the Blue Jays an insurance run.
Meeting on the mound over as Michael Saunders steps in. Saunders with a big 2-run home run off the left-hander Chasen Shreve last inning. Well, the Blue Jays have done a lot of damage with 2 outs. 7 of their 8 runs tonight, Buck, have scored after 2 were out. And in all 3 of those innings, the 4th, the 7th, and the 8th, it was 2 outs and nobody even on base. And then they scored 7 runs combined in those 3 innings.
Yeah, and the first rally in the 4th was the bottom 3 in the order. Pilar had an infield hit. Travis had an infield hit. And then Goins had the 2-run, 2-out double.
Well, tonight they have resembled last year's team a lot more closely than they have most of this year. Some big hits, 3 home runs, 2-out rallies. Saunders' home run, his 9th. The RBIs number 16 and 17. Donaldson's at third. Encarnacion, who just drove in a run, is at first.
Michael Saunders against the lefty Chasen Shreve hangs in there on a 3-2 breaking ball and hits it into the seats in right. That's the 5th home run Saunders has hit this season against lefty pitching. And he's now hitting over 300 against lefty pitching for the season.
The 1-2. Popped him up. McCann makes the catch in foul territory, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays had a run, now lead 8-3. It's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Innings tonight, 2 of the 3 runs scoring on a couple of back-to-back home runs in the 7th inning, but overall, Buck, another very strong performance.
Boy, it sure was. And you just heard Jamie and Greg talk about getting out of that jam in the bases loaded situation, allowing just 1 run to the Yankees. And to me, that was the turning point of this ball game. I mean, the Yankees could have scored 3 runs in that inning, and the Blue Jays might have never gotten back into it. But Estrada did his job. Now it's over to the bullpen. Joe Biagini will make his 14th appearance, and he is pitching in much more significant roles lately, for sure.
Very strong numbers for the 25-year-old rookie. The Rule 5 pickup from the Giants organization. A 5-run lead as the Yankees come up here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he'll inherit a tough part of the lineup. Beltran, McCann, and Castro, 3, 4, 5.
In last night's game, Biagini came in to face Jacoby Ellsbury and got him to hit a ground ball, but it was to the shortstop, and it turned into an infield hit and an RBI. Then he got Gardner to fly out to left field to end the inning, and Biagini threw just 9 pitches and was out of the game.
Shift is on as Beltran steps in, 0 for 3 on the night. Pop up, a fly ball, and a ground out. Beltran 2 hits away from 2,500 in his career. Presumably tomorrow, Beltran is back at right field, and Alex Rodriguez is the DH, based on what Joe Girardi said before the game. The likelihood was A-Rod homering on a rehab at Double-A Trenton tonight. There's a bouncing ball right at Travis. 1 down.
Yeah, you would expect Beltran to go back into right. He has been the DH since A-Rod has been out, and that will free him up to get back in the right field. He says he likes playing in the outfield. That makes him more involved in the game. He doesn't prefer the DH role, but at this point of his career, this is his 19th season. Sometimes that's a break for him.
Here's Brian McCann. Chases a ball in the dirt from Biagini. McCann is 0 for 3. Blue Jays with 3 home runs tonight, 2 by Russell Martin, 1 by Michael Saunders, 8-3 in the 8th inning.
I think it's so important to mention again, Dan, and it's the first time in Blue Jays franchise history that 2 Canadians have homered in the same game.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.
And also Martin going 124 at bats without a home run, and then hitting home runs in back-to-back at bats. He'll have an opportunity to hit in the top of the 9th inning.
I think it's extra special that a Canadian called it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Swing and a miss. The tag applied by Martin. 2 down. I mean, you've been in Canada for so many years. You understand what it means to Canadians to have a Canadian ball player or two on the Blue Jays.
Absolutely. And because of the success of so many of them, like Russell Martin and Michael Saunders, the young people that are getting into the game, they have these guys to look up to. Of course, you go back to Corey Koski and Larry Walker and Fergie Jenkins, all the great Canadians that have played before these two guys. Baseball is becoming very significant.
Swing and a miss by Starlin Castro. Boy, outing by outing, Joe Biagini continues to open up eyes and impress.
I saw Joe when Joe was in San Francisco. I talked to Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Giants, and he goes, "That's Joe Biagini? That's the guy we let go in a Rule 5 draft?" Just physically, you got to stick with him a while. He was a starter in the Giants system. He's got great size, great body for a pitcher. He's big and strong and durable, and he's got a nice assortment of pitches.
And he's just goofy enough to not know he's supposed to be scared out there. How's that? Did I put that delicately enough?
That was perfect.
Yeah. He's a little goofy. Just low.
Yeah, what he has really fit in with this ball club, and doesn't say much and really tries to learn a lot. Been a very hard worker.
The 2-2. Castro chases it. Martin down to first, and the inning is over. Another good inning for Biagini here tonight as he works the 8th. 3 up and 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. 8-3 Blue Jays.
Exciting way to stream sports. Sportsnet now lets you live stream your favorite sports without cable TV. All you need is internet. Start your free trial today. Visit sportsnet.ca/now. Dan, all these great stats you've come up with tonight about the hitting. And how about this? Blue Jays have 11 hits. Every member of the starting lineup has at least one. Edwin has 2. Martin has 2. Everybody else in the lineup has at least 1.
Well, Martin's happy. Brooke Jacoby's got to be happy. John Gibbons has got to be happy. 8-3 Blue Jays going to the 9th. Justin Smoke will lead it off.
Justin Smoke goes after that first pitch as Nick Goody came in and really had some problems. He walked the first 2 batters he faced and gave up an RBI single to Encarnacion before getting out of the inning.
Smoke tonight 1 for 4, doubled and scored in the 7th inning rather, when the Blue Jays had their big inning. Scored 4 runs on the 2-run homers by Saunders and Martin. 3 home runs, 11 hits, and an 8-3 lead. No 2 in the dirt and bounces away from McCann. There's nobody up. Oh, my mistake. There is somebody up. That would be Chad Girardo. Left-hander is up for the Blue Jays in the bullpen. Six, 7, and 8. Ackley, Headley, and Gregorius due up for the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th as Smoke lines the ball to right field, but right at Hicks. 1 down.
So Russell Martin's had a breakout game here tonight. This is his first home run of the season. Comes in his 125th at bat. Over the wall in left, and then for good measure, how about going the opposite way? And I think he was more pleased with that swing and that home run than he was with the first one. A little extra hop in his step as he rounded the bases for a second time.
Breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. 11th career multi-home run game for Russell Martin. Line into left field, foul down the left field line. It's 0-2. Last time that Martin had 2 home runs in a game was last September, and it was in this ballpark. And one of the 2 was off Chasen Shreve. One of the guys he hit a home run off of tonight.
Russell's never had a 3 home run game, but he'd like to get another hit. I know that.
The 1-2. That fastball was not as high as Brian McCann wanted it to be, and Martin fouls it off.
Yeah, he had another good swing as they made a mistake with that fastball. They wanted it up a little bit higher.
Got a piece to stay alive.
You can have all the batting practice and look at all the video in the world, but until you step in the box and feel what a good swing feels like, that's when you're going to have that muscle memory come back and say, okay, that's what I was looking for. That home run to right, I think even more so than the home run to left.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crowd has thinned out considerably here at Yankee Stadium. It was a pretty nice crowd at the beginning of the night. I think about half the folks who were here are probably gone now with a 5-run deficit for their Yankees. Two. High in the air to right center field. It's pretty deep, but it will not leave the yard. On the warning track, Ellsbury is there to make the catch. 2 down.
Another good swing for Russell, and boy, it's been a good night for him at the plate. Hitting the ball in that direction is a real good sign, and you can see that he just missed that one. Another good AB for Russell.
So with 2 outs, here's Kevin Pillar. 1 for 4, had an infield hit and scored back in the 4th on the 2-run double by Ryan Goins that got things started for the Blue Jays tonight. They were down 1-0. Eventually went out to a 7-1 lead. The Yankees got 2 in the bottom of the 7th on back-to-back homers. And then the Jays added on a run in the top of the 8th. 8-3 now as they bat in the top of the 9th. Went around. It's 0-2. Red Sox are still up 7-3 on Colorado as they bat in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway. The Orioles and Rays are both trailing right now in their games. Again, the 0-2. Popped up at a shallow right. Castro's back. And that's the inning. The Jays go in order in the top of the 9th. On to the bottom of the 9th. Chad Girardo coming on to protect a 5-run lead. Bottom of the 9th at Yankee Stadium with the Buck Martinez. I'm Dan Shulman. Left-hander Chad Girardo will make his 10th appearance of the season. The rookie's allowed 3 earned runs, 2 home runs in 8 innings pitched. He has not pitched in 5 days since one of the games back in Minnesota. Non-save situation with a 5-run lead as he comes on looking to get the last 3 outs of the night.
Girardo is 25 years old. This is his 4th season in the Blue Jays organization. His first year in the big leagues. He made his debut on the 22nd of April against Oakland. Pitched 2 scoreless innings. Another good outing for Joe Biagini. He threw just 12 pitches with a couple of strikeouts in the 8th inning. And now Girardo will try to wrap things up.
Austin Romine will bat for Dustin Ackley. Got a right-handed batter in there against the lefty Girardo. Romine, the backup catcher for the Yankees, started last night. Pinch hits here in the 9th tonight. First pitch swinging. He drills the ball. Left center field, hit a ton and gone. And just like that, it's 8-4. And Pete Walker's already on the phone, and even before the pitch was thrown, there's activity in the Blue Jays pen.
First home run of the season for Austin Romine, and with one swing of the bat, both Osuna and Storen get up and throwing. Austin Romine started last night, as Dan mentioned, and he had a 2-hit game with a single and a double, drove in a run. He didn't waste any time jumping over this pitch right out over the middle, and hits his first home run of the season.
Chase Headley, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against the lefty Girardo.
Romine coming off the bench, didn't waste any time, and first opportunity to face Chad Girardo, he takes him deep.
A bouncer to short. Goins, 1 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central, here are Ken and Ivanka. All right, guys, thank you. 2 outs away from that and more. On Sportsnet Central, the Blue Jays 2 outs away from a win over the Yankees. Gregorius bounces one up the middle, a base hit. And will John Gibbons give Gerardo one more batter, or is he going to make the move right now? He wants Russell Martin to go out and talk to him, buy a little time. Pete Walker, I think, just said he's ready.
Yeah, and whether it's Storm or Osuna, not really sure, but looks like Gibbons is prepared to go out and make a pitching change right here. He was hopeful of having a nice clean inning here in the 9th.
Here he comes, and he has signaled to the pen which right-hander does he want. Not yet a save situation, but no more Storin, so it looks like Osuna is going to be the guy. He's going to get a few more pitches in before he comes out. So Gerardo surrenders a home run, gets an out, then a base hit, and now Osuna has to come on to try to finish it off in the 9th.
Jay Shop is Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch available now. Get yours today at jshop.ca. The Blue Jays just 2 outs away from winning for the first time and allowing 4 runs. Dan, they had that 0-21 going.
Hoping to pick up their first win, Barry, in that kind of a situation. John Gibbons wants to win so badly, he'll bring in Osuna in a non-save situation, but doesn't want to let this one get any tighter. Gerardo gives up a home run, then after an out gives up a base hit. 8-4, runner at first, 1 out, and Osuna on looking for the last 2 outs of the night.
He last pitched on Sunday in Minnesota in that 3-1 win. Picked up the save in that ball game, his 9th of the season. This is not a save situation, but he's trying to save the win for Marco Estrada.
Aaron Hicks will bat from the left side against the right-hander Osuna and take high ball 1. Hicks has walked twice and flied out to left. He's the number 9 hitter, so after him it's Ellsbury, Gardner, Beltran. Blue Jays don't want this one to get any more dramatic than it is here in the bottom of the 9th, and there's a high strike. 1-1.
Osuna's done a terrific job of pounding the strike zone. He has 3 pitches now, fastball, slider, and a changeup, and he's averaged 14.5 pitches per inning all season long. So he doesn't give hitter an awful lot of information about what he's featuring.
Fouled off to the left, 1-2.
He has such an easy delivery that hitters have a tendency to be late on his fastball, and it's 97, but it's so easy it really jumps on the hitters. Got his first big league strikeout right here last season against Alex Rodriguez. He was so poised and confident he called time after he got the ball back and threw it out of play.
And he's still one of the 3 or 4 youngest players in the majors even this year. He's still just 21. Short lead at first by Gregorius. 1-2, just misses up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The downside of this, of course, even if Osuna nails it down tonight, is if he throws whatever certain number of pitches is deemed to be too many, he may not be available tomorrow afternoon. They would have preferred not to have used him in this game.
Quick turnaround tomorrow. It's a 4 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon.
On the appeal, he went. James Hoy rings up Aaron Hicks for out number 2.
Boy, that slider is getting better and better all the time for Osuna. He throws 97. He's got a terrific changeup, and now the slider is really beginning to play for him. So that's a 3-pitch arsenal that Osuna features late in the ballgame.
Back to the top of the order for Jacoby Ellsbury, with the Blue Jays an out away from victory. Ellsbury's 0 for 4. They'll play behind the runner Gregorius now at first as Ellsbury looks at a strike. If it holds up, Marco Estrada picks up his 2nd win of the season. Russell Martin hit his first 2 home runs of the season tonight. Michael Saunders his 9th. Ryan Goins a big 2-run double. Runner will go as it's fouled back, and it's now 0-2. J. Happ and CC Sabathia in a battle of left-handers tomorrow afternoon. And the Blue Jays head home for a weekend series with the Boston Red Sox, who are now up 10-3 on Colorado. Every time you look up at the scoreboard, they've added on. The 0-2 up and away, and coasting into second on defensive indifference is Gregorius.
J. Happ for his career is 4-2 against the Yankees, and CC Sabathia, of course, he's been pitching forever. He's 15-6 against the Blue Jays. So Jay will pitch in this ballpark that favors the left-handed starters. CC Sabathia, fresh off the disabled list, had a good outing against the A's. 6 innings, 3 hits. He allowed 1 earned run. Picked to win.
Again, the 1-2. Shot to left, and that's the ball game. Saunders there to make the catch, and the Blue Jays bounce back with an 8-4 win tonight here at Yankee Stadium.
Well, a lot of good things happened tonight. Of course, Russell Martin's first 2 home runs of the season. Ryan Goins filling in for Troy Tulowitzki had a big 2-run double, and Michael Saunders takes another left-hander deep, and the return of Devin Travis. All things good for the Blue Jays if they split the first 2 games of this 3-game series.
John Gibbons' team now back within 2 games of 500, an 8-4 win. They'll try to take the series tomorrow afternoon here in the Bronx. Time now for a busy edition of Sportsnet Central. Here are Ken and Ivanka.